Take a look at the bright side. Take a walk on the wild side. Here's to knowing that everything will change. Is there something I missed?
But I had seen some ad somewhere in a catalog, commemorative bats or award bats where, one of the examples was baby's birth statistics on the barrel of a bat. So I thought, I'm a woodworker, love to play baseball, gonna have a baby. I'd love to put my baby's birth statistics on there as a commemorative piece and hang it on my office wall. My dad could do the calligraphy on the end. So my friend and I made this bat. We had no idea what we were doing, but we were both really kind of intrigued by the whole process of turning something out of wood. We make this bat, take us all day. Max is born. I'm like, sweet, I've got a baby boy, and I want to have my dad put the calligraphy, the information on the end, born on this date, weight, length, all that stuff. But I knew it would look weird if it didn't have a logo in the middle. So I think of the name Max Bat, and I think of the logo, and I'm concepting this in my head, and I design it, print it off, I put it on the bat, and once I put it on the bat, it looked like a real bat.
So at this point, it's kind of a hobby, kind of
Absolutely.
a fun thing, right?
Yeah.
So what was the transition between that and actually making it a business?
I was doing it as a hobby. I was making these bats in my basement workshop when Max was asleep at night, because it took forever to make these by hand. 9/11 happens. The company I was working for went out of business. So here I am, a new dad. I've got no job. The world's in turmoil. What's going to happen?
You're
What's
right.
going to go on? And so I was just kind of doing these little internal conversations with myself, like, what am I going to do with my life? I just kind of convinced myself that I have kind of passed up opportunities in the past, thinking that, who am I? And but something clicked that said, I'm going to do this. So anyway, I kind of racked my brain. I figured, well, I figure I got to call MLB because there's probably some regulations. And so I contacted them, and they sent me the rules and regulations. I had to make some bats and send them to MLB offices. And really, I was going to be content with a letter that came back from MLB on letterhead that said, thanks, but no thanks. I could frame it, put it on the wall, and I could use that as a teaching tool to tell my son Max, like, hey, pursue your dreams, take a chance, whatever. The letter came back and said, congratulations, you're an approved bat vendor. Well, from there, I'm like, I can't do this in my basement anymore.
So how do you network, and like at that point in time, right? It's the 90s, right?
Yeah, no, this is 2002.
2000. So the internet's still very young.
Right.
It's not like Google, how do I make a bat? How do I start a bat company?
Right,
sort of thing.
No.
How are you getting involved, or how are you finding the answers to some of those?
The Twins equipment manager at the time, Jimmy Dunn, he was very open to me asking him a bunch of questions. I just showed up at the Metrodome one day, and I introduced myself to him, told him a little bit of my story. He gave me the time, and he basically, told me a little bit about what I needed to do to succeed. And one of the things he told me was that if I could make a bat for Doug Minkiewicz that he would like, that we'd do well in this business. And I got to say, this is 2003 now.
Okay, so
because 2002, I've got to really try to get my ducks in a row.
what were those ducks in 2002? What
Trying
were
to
you
find a
doing?
manufacturing partner. Trying to find out, what do I do? What are the winter meetings? I've never even heard of this before. And I'm a huge baseball fan, but I've got no idea what the winter meetings are. What do they do there? How do I get these bats into pro players' hands? Do I go to spring training? Do I just, is there a mailing list for sports agents, or what do I do? So there was just a lot of fact-finding and information. But, one of the things I had to do was find a manufacturing partner. I met with a couple companies that could do some turning on some, moderately sized scale, but several of the people I met with said, we're not big enough to do what you want. There's an outfit in West Central Minnesota that can help you 100%, because they're the #1 custom wood turning operation in North America. I'm like, okay, but I don't want to move out of Minneapolis. I love Minneapolis. And so I was kind of reluctant to even contact them, but I did. And they were indeed set up to do wood turning of any kind. I came to them as basically a customer of theirs, so I would make bats, hand turn them, and they would take that hand turn model and they would make hundreds or thousands, if they needed to, of the same exact shape and style. So there was that consistency that I needed.
So, okay, you've got your bat model. You're
Yeah.
approved by MLB.
Yep.
You've got the ability to manufacture everything.
Yep.
You just got to get into the hand of somebody like Doug Minkiewicz. How
Right.
does that happen?
So one time I remember he was doing an autograph signing at the Mall of America, and I stood in line, not to get his autograph, but I just wanted to introduce myself to him. And so he gave me, like 20 seconds of his time, but I at least got myself in front of him to tell him that, I want to make bats for you or whatever. Jim Dunn, the equipment manager for the Twins, he had said, we'll come down to spring training, you can come in and talk to the guys, bring some sample bats or whatever. So he was kind of laying it out what we need to do. So Paul Johnson, my business partner, and I, we went down to spring training. We figured we're going to spend our whole week at Twins camp. Again, not even knowing what to do. But met with Jim Dunn early in the morning before the players got there, and he says, yep, you can come on in to the clubhouse, set up right here, go ahead and talk to the guys. And there was a bit of a, hesitation, like, we shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be in the clubhouse. But really realized that, we know we make a good bat, a good product, and these guys need this. And they're just like you and me, but they're really good at what they do. So, yeah, we're going to go talk to these guys and see what they want. So I remember wanting to get bats into Jock Jones's hands. He was sitting in the corner, the far corner, and I, like an idiot, I just grabbed 4 bats out of the bag, and I walk over there, and I'm like, hey, Jock Jones, I'm Jim Anderson with MaxBat. Here, try these. I didn't even ask him what kind of bat model he swung, what length. Didn't know if he had a contract with anybody. Didn't know if he swung ash, maple, whatever. But seconds after I handed those bats to him, I said to myself, I did that completely wrong. And so I learned right away, what I went through that list. So my next conversation, I think it was with Mike Kadire, but I asked him all sorts of questions, and it was just, we had this vocabulary, we had this dialogue, and it was just really good. So that's kind of how it started.
I can't wait.